So our next reader is Steffan Triplett. Stefan Triplet was born and raised in Joplin, Missouri. After attending Joplin High School, he attended Washington University in St. Louis, where he was a John B. Irvin Scholar and a member of Lock and Chain Honor. Dang, man, good. Stefan spent the last year as an AmeriCorps member tutoring math to middle school students in San Antonio, Texas, where he learned that 13-year-olds are the world's best comedians. Stefan is invested in memoir writing and the personal, yet socially relevant essay. A high point in Stefan's life has been when, in the 4th grade, he placed 3rd in the regional spelling bee. It's much better than I would have ever done in the spelling bee. He has a 7-year-old niece named Sage. Yo, I have a 7-year-old nephew. We should organize some play dates. I mean, he lives in Portland, so that probably wouldn't work out. But anyway, everyone, Steffan Triplett.
All right, this is a piece that I've been working on for a while that I had to take a long break from. So I'm excited to read it to you guys, and you can give me any feedback you want. And it's called Promenade. From the main highway, we took a right into rural darkness. Lights were far and few between. A farmhouse here, a few lights on the power line there. We knew we were headed in the right direction when we saw the black and red pentagram spray painted on the pavement. From the pentagram, we drove a few miles until trees no longer lined the road and the fields reached to ends we couldn't see. We parked the car and we waited. We were on the Devil's Promenade. I don't know which came first, the name given to the stretch of East 50 Road, or the satanic symbol that was so mysteriously maintained, the black and red of it always visible to drivers searching for the spook light. Like most teenagers in Joplin, my friends and I often went out searching for the spook light, an urban legend that persists in the area, although I guess rural legend would be more accurate. The light lives in the outskirts of Joplin, where country and night collide. 25 minutes from the center of town, a series of disused roads leads you to its home. Some people think the light is supernatural, a ghost of an old miner, or the product of rightfully vengeful native spirits. Some think it is a product of natural gas and chemicals, or just a countryman's lantern that he turns on and off when necessary. Others think the light is an illusion, a trick caused by the reflection of car lights off of the distant highways. I'm not sure which theory is more believable. But regardless of its origin, legend has it that the spook light manifests as a glowing orb. We usually never saw anything, just spent hours in the car laughing, looking, and trying to pass the time. Ryan's orange hair was the brightest thing among us once the car lights flipped off. And I would watch as he would comfort the scared Alex, or as Colin would playfully spook Sarah, who would giggle before the pair shared a kiss. The romantic combinations were always changing, but never involved me. Holding hands with the girl was not my goal in visiting the promenade. If we had driven all the way out to the middle of nowhere, I wanted to see the light that I had heard so much about. My high school chemistry teacher was the first person I had heard call the area the Devil's Promenade. He liked to tell our class an extravagant story of how he saw the spook light up close. I chased it up a tree, he claimed. He described it as this floating, glowing orb that was purple, orange, and maybe green. He said that he tried to grab the light, but it always managed to elude his clutch. He made it sound like the light had a mind of its own. When he first told us the story, I believed him. Now, I wonder if he was just practicing how to entertain. He's now a mountain man impersonator in his retirement. We weren't afraid of the spook light. We didn't think there was a supernatural force involved. We didn't know exactly what it was, and we didn't need to. But there was something eerie and mysterious about the promenade. It was unsettling. The pitch black of night was scary and just as unknown as the origin of the orb. The lack of city lights and townsfolk, the darkness, and the pentagram left me feeling vulnerable to nature and the world. It was creepy and it was fun, and I just wanted to see it. I think that's it, I said, looking through the windshield of the parked car. I was in the back seat and had to maneuver my head to see around Ryan at the steering wheel. I pointed to an orange glowing light in the distance. It seemed to be moving. It was hard to tell. We all paused in silence. I squinted, trying to tell if the light was really there. It was. It stayed there bobbing up and down ever so slightly. It was teasing us. We decided to get a closer look. We got out of the car and started walking up the road towards the light, watching the small orange ball bounce and flicker. We walked for 5 minutes and realized the spook light, still levitating there, seemed just as far away from us as it had 5 minutes ago. It must have been farther away than we thought. We decided to go back to the car and drive to it. I got back to the car and buckled myself in. Ryan started the car and I looked through the window once more. "I don't see it anymore," I said. None of us did. We struggled and strained, our necks crooked wildly, looking around for any form of light. Someone said that we must have scared it off. Someone wished we'd seen it up closer. "At least we saw it," I said. Things were different now that high school was over. My first year of college was a change for me. I went off to a bigger city, St. Louis, to attend Washington University, and resolved to not be as intimidated as I was in high school. I came out and was doing new, exciting things. I felt more like myself than I ever had, the typical story. But the summer after college, having to return back to Joplin, I found myself thrust back into old routines. I picked up my friend Victoria from her house. I wasn't looking forward to going to the Devil's Promenade again that night, but I was glad Victoria was coming along. She had quickly become one of my best friends at the end of high school, and nothing had changed after I came out. She was the most unfazed. We met some of our friends in the parking lot of a McAllister's Deli, and we waited for some others. My stomach lurched as Sarah came up to us, wearing a sweatshirt I had bought her earlier in the year. "Are we still going to Spook Light?" she asked. Sarah and I had been friends since elementary school. Our classes together, nights at youth group, and shared mission trip vacations had made us inseparable. She was my true best friend. I was most worried about coming out to her. I didn't want to ruin our near decade of friendship. I came out to her in a Facebook message at the beginning of the school year. It probably wasn't the best way to do such a thing, but there's really not a good way, and I was too afraid to say it out loud to her on the phone. It was the longest Facebook message I've ever written. She responded how I feared she would. She figured that it wasn't my choice to be predisposed to homosexuality, but that acting on it was failing a test that God was giving me. She told me this, but insisted that she still loved me and our friendship. I hoped that she would eventually grow and warm up to what I now considered part of my life. After months of me trying to explain my thoughts and reasoning on why being gay was not wrong, I thought she had made some progress. She began to openly acknowledge that I was gay and would sometimes even ask me advice on talking to guys and if I thought a boy was cute or not. In the spring, I got my left ear pierced. "Isn't that false advertising?" she asked. I told her that I thought the right ear, gay ear thing was either a myth or outdated. I was annoyed, but at least we were talking about my sexuality over the phone and not in an instant message. But these progressions weren't important. Our friendship was clearly strained. We always ended up back at the same place. As upsetting as it was, I began to see Sarah as a lost cause, but I couldn't completely let go. Earlier that summer, one of my friends had passed away. I kept thinking that maybe I should hold on to a friendship while I still could. So when Sarah walked up to us all in the parking lot, wearing the navy Washington University sweatshirt I had given her when we were still best friends, I saw it as a sign. Coincidentally, I was wearing my gray college sweatshirt. We matched. I'd given her the navy because I was afraid it would clash with my skin tone. People had told me navy and brown don't go together. I liked the gray anyway. Maybe there was still hope for our friendship after all. We piled into 2 cars and drove over the black and red pentagram and perched at our usual spot from our high school years, next to the gravel driveway of a distant farmhouse with several cows that we could only hear and not see. We sat in the car for a few minutes before remembering it was warm out. My body remembered the routine. We all exited the cars and piddled around. Someone peed in the grass and Ryan tried to scare some of the girls. Things were normal. Sarah kept her distance, or I kept my distance from her. The group decided that we weren't close enough to see the light like we had been when we had seen it, so we continued down the road. I was hesitant to stray too far from the cars. I wasn't as fearless as I used to be. I was more aware of my position in the world. We were in the middle of nowhere, and with nothing in sight, no spook light to guide us, my apprehension was rising. My friends weren't as concerned as I was. I wanted to just drive closer. "But it's nice out. We'll be fine," Ryan said.